the first thing that I got introduced to. I was in India and I got one of the older copies. And he says here, he's answering a question. The question is, oh, this is beautiful actually. It says all these discussions are only to get rid of ignorance. Yes, basically. So, and then he goes, the guy goes, the question goes, cannot grace hasten such confidence in a seeker? And then he goes, leave it to him, surrender unreservedly. One of two things must be done. Either surrender because you admit your inability and also require a higher power to help you, which to me is what happens in recovery, basically. Or investigate into the cause of misery. It doesn't go investigate into the cause of what we are, but into the cause of misery. Yeah? So there's a direction to the knowledge. He doesn't want knowledge of what you are, he wants knowledge of what you're not, because what you're not being identified as what you are is the source of the misery. Yeah? At least you can get clear on some, because it's not so much you haven't run into the right information, it's the approach. Yeah, the approach is, and the way, usually in self-centeredness, the approach is taking an assumed fact that this is where you start, Paul, you know, and it's the thinker and the doer and the feeler and the body, and then from there attempt to gain knowledge about everything, but mostly about what you are, but we're attempting to gain knowledge about what we are from what we're not. That's the primary ignorance, in a sense, yeah? Because if you see the word ignorance, there's an ignoring. There's an ignoring of what we are by our obsession with what we're not, yeah? So it's just a correction, and the correction is so beautiful because when it's made, there was no need for a correction, because what we believed has happened, is happening, will happen, hasn't, won't, and isn't. Yeah? That's the beauty of it. The beauty of it is there's no need for a solution. The complete beauty of it is that. Yeah? It's not like is there a problem or not. There's no need for a solution. That's the solution. Because if you see the problem from the solution, you see that it's imaginary, it's an activity, it's being entertained. Yeah? In other words, could you imagine if you saw that every movie you've ever watched was based on you entertaining it? If you stopped entertaining it, the movie would just end, in a sense, yeah? You would see maybe a role in thing. Oh, I'm not just a fucking neutral viewer, yeah? I have a huge role in the movie because without the entertaining of, there is no movie, yeah? And I'm the entertaining of it. I'm like the constant audience to the movie. And if the audience looked away, the movie would seemingly stop, yes? So I just think this is beautiful because it says one of two things must be done, yeah? That's so, I mean, it's not even two things must be done. It's one of two things. So it makes it, he narrows it down to such simplicity. What are they? Either surrender because you admit your inability to pull it off. Yeah? Am I producing happiness, joyousness, and freedom? Or I'm in the constant activity of trying to produce happiness, joyous, freedom. Yeah? Has the production ever completed the mission? Or is it in a constant producing, and in a weird way, the wanting to produce the happiest joy and the freedom is the source of the unhappiness, the unjoy, and the lack of freedom. That's how insane it really is. It isn't like, it isn't just sort of like, I have nothing to do with it. I just, no, you have everything to do with it. Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah? So, all right. So pick one, or whatever way you, as what you're not, think you lean. All right. Do you lean to the idea? You have tons of information. You're not managerial quality. So now you can admit, finally, that you have the inability to pull it off. That's all right, it's fine. You've recognized the failedness of the system. Yeah. Now recognizing the failedness of the system as the system is that fucking all the guilt and all the shit that the selfing produces. Yeah. When it recognizes the failure of the system, but it blames the system, which is the succeeding of the system once again. It uses the failure of the system to promote itself, yeah? So now there's like legions of people that are professionals of producing guilt out of what's not happening and victimhood and shit like that. So the same thing, the failure of the system still sometimes isn't enough because you'll blame it on you. You'll think it's because I didn't do enough. Yeah, it was so funny. You can make jokes about it, but they're very, very revealing. I did this talk outside of Boston, and a guy came very innocently, and he had been with some group, and they were saying that if you held a posture for 16 minutes without moving, something would download. And so what happened, he couldn't hold it. So he said, what should I have done? I said, you should have held it for 17 minutes. Yeah, and then within 18 minutes. Yeah, it's not going to happen because it already so. Yeah, you can't put off what's already so. It can't be put off and held back until you fulfill some fucking imaginary requirements you believe you need to fulfill to be available to it. It's always available at all times with no requirement necessary. Getting burnt here. Yeah, you see? So the whole point is, all right, as the system itself, I admit, finally, the inability for the system to produce any sense of happiness, joy, or freedom. Yeah? And it's even doubly different than that. My own pursuit of it is the reason why it seems not to be available. So you should be utterly, rudely awakened to the inability of the system to produce what you were relying it on for. Why it would you would imagine it would produce a vast migration away from the system. Yeah? If you saw it, just all the rationales and the excuses, you just saw it as plain failed, yeah, it would obviously provoke a moving away, but the system has us because we're identified as its center. So now when the self wants to get out of itself, it's more of itself. It's such an incredible move, yeah. So, grasshopper, the hopping won't do. You will just hop into a more hotter frying pan. So the grasshopper has to stop hopping, and it can't stop hopping. Yeah. So what do you see? I'm not the grasshopper. Please. Yeah. You have it all. You know. I think the case was sufficiently decided years ago. We'd keep going to the appellate courts and the reviews and trying to get more clarification. Has what you're relying on failed? Yes. Yeah. Is it equipped to live in time? No. Yeah. It has a hard enough time getting ready for something at 9 in the morning. It can't fucking imagine getting ready for at 8 p.m. Yeah. It's overmatched. It's outmatched. Yeah, the little system can't pull this off. It's way too daunting. Yeah, where I'm gonna have to try to establish something that is on sand. It has no foundation. So basically, I'm feeling anxious all the time, even when I seem to have a sound foundation. I don't believe it's gonna last as a sound foundation because time has a huge role here. So even if I'm really chilled out and cool, there's still a suspicion I won't be. once she comes home or the boss calls or something, there'll be certain things that my okayness will be contingent on that I can't manage. I don't know when they're coming home. I don't know, yes, their expectations. So you're constantly relying on the system as the system hasn't worked. It won't work. So self can't get out of self. That's what we've come to the conclusion in recovery. Self can't get out of self. So you finally admit your inability to pull anything off, right? And you, not only that, you need a higher power. In other words, the power that you're relying on is the problem, in a sense. So I need what you want to call a higher power. To me, it's just, that's what we are. We're disguising ourselves, calling another aspect of us a higher power. Yeah? But who cares? Make up fucking tons of shit. Just see what you are as foreign to you. So that when you see it as foreign to you, a possibility becomes available that's not available to you, which is I can be free from it. Yeah? If you keep wanting to be free as the system, that's the bondage of self. Yeah. The bondage of self is wanting to be free from self a lot. Yeah? I want to feel free from what I think I am, how I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, what I've got, what I don't have, what they've got, what they don't have. Yeah? I'm really wanting to be free from self most of the time. Yet I'm wanting that as self. This is the fundamental thing, that we give exemptions to certain activities, like spiritual activities, believing that they have like a preordained exemption from self can't get out of self, but they don't. Many people have tried and they come to the same conclusion. Yeah? The seeker is the sought, but will never be found by seeking. What? Yeah. The seeker is the sought, but can't be found through seeking. End of story. This doesn't need to be 500 pages. If you don't get it this way, you're not going to get the long, drawn-out fucking explanation of it. Because it's just going to reinforce you, once again, trying to get out of you. Yeah. You know, it's like that old thing with the furniture store. I ordered a couch, yeah? The couch is delivered the day they said it was, in the condition they said it would be, yeah? They would need no excuses, rationale, or they wouldn't be blaming anyone for the lack of the delivery of the couch. They delivered the couch, yeah? How long have you been waiting for the couch to be delivered? Fucking how long? Keep calling customer service, it sure sounds like you. Oh no, you need to practice more. You don't have enough space for that couch. We're doing this for your own good, whatever it may be. But when's the suspicion going to lead to some fucking finality? When does the word stop really mean enough is enough? Yeah? They've warned us. They've warned us. You can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. Would he or she, being very clear, say that to anyone other than the Buddha? Why? Why would you say that to Sam if Sam was an individual entity? You would fuck Sam up, because Sam's using Buddhism to seek the Buddha, obviously. Yeah? Who would want to dump that bomb on somebody? 30 years of beautiful and they've gotten better and everything like that. Leave it to be. Leave it alone. But it's the Buddha they're speaking to. Not to Sharon or Paul, but to the Buddha. And the Buddha, you can't use yourself to find yourself. It isn't a punishment, it's a fact. Yeah? You're using yourself to find yourself is the obscuring of what's so. There you go. Nothing else could obscure it but what's so. What could fool reality other than reality? mean, nothing else is, oh, there's an incredible illusion that can fool reality. There's no illusion that can fool reality. Unless reality wants to be fooled by an illusion. That's basically the condition, yeah? So all these things, so here, this is, all right, so that's one. Yeah, the admittance or whatever, I just lost the page. The other one is investigate the causes of the misery. Yeah. So basically, learn about what you're not. Yeah. Understand what you're not, and then ask it, who am I? Or from whence do you come? And because all there is what's so, it's got to quote unquote come from what's so. What's not so also comes from what's so. There's nothing that escapes what's so. So if you follow what you're not with what you're not, it's going to negate each other. You're going to ask, who am I? Yeah, it's going to be what you're not, asking what you're not. Who are you? And what you're not doesn't come up with a good fucking answer. Ding! They both get negated. What's left behind? Everything. What was always there? Everything. Was there anything that was replacing everything? No. Was it before? No. Will it be? No. Yeah? What happens then? There's no need to ask any question. You just rest in that. Yeah? And then, what? If the mental storm provokes you believing you're the hand forgets it's the glove and it's in the glove world again, all right. Then use the glove to ask the glove, who's the glove? Yeah? The glove falls off, there's the hand, the animating principle. Then you realize, Jesus, I was never a glove. Nor will I ever be a glove. And I don't have to fear the sequel, the return of the glove, because there's clarity. I saw something that's a fact. Yeah? I arrived there not by seeking it. I saw what I'm not. I learned about what I'm not. I have an understanding about what I'm not that's allowed me to recognize what I'm not from what I'm not, but from what I am. Now suddenly, the fact, the horse is in front of the cart, which is always the case, but now the way you're looking at it, thinking the cart's in front of the horse, has been corrected. And when it's corrected, you didn't move the horse or the cart. It was always the horse in front of the cart. It's always been blue is blue and red is red. It's never not been. Yeah? Just so the correction makes itself obsolete. Yeah? The solution, once applied, there was no problem. So there's no need for a solution. You are the solution you're looking for. You are it. Yeah. Way past finding a solution. Way, way, way before finding a solution. You are it. You are the solution. And you are the seeming problem. So you see, finally, please, yeah, please, it's already so. Why do you keep begging to have more time to make it unso? Just let it hit you and let it just be fucking clear and established, and then go on with being Paul the rest of your life. Yeah, at least you'll travel lighter. Yeah, as a new basis. And I'll tell you, when I go to recovery meetings and I hear people's lives based on another basis of anxiousness, belief in time, dis-ease, uncomfortableness, I'm sure fucking happy as the action figure that something changed, yeah? That my base is sort of chilled outness, yeah? My base is I have an immunity to the meanderings and the effects of what's not happening. I do. Next week isn't fucking my Saturday up. It isn't. It's not like I'm constantly vigilant on my little sentinel post to see next Saturday coming. There is no next Saturday. I don't need no security system. There's no one breaking in. Next Wednesday's not breaking in today. It isn't. It's very clear what's not happening. It's very clear when you're sitting in what's happening. And I'm saying we're always sitting in what's happening. Yeah? So this isn't a newfound ability. It's something there's been an ignoring of, that's all. And now you've lost interest in the vehicle of ignorance, yes? And you've learned about what you're not, and you've learned about the cause of your misery, yes? And you've seen it, hey, I'm not that, that's that. And then things get reestablished, yeah? As if they've never not been that way, really. Yeah. So the, we've just been pounding away at it, because I swear to God, I guess I was ready to, to get my luggage and my fucking carry-on for a long spiritual journey. It just got abruptly shut down completely, because there's no point to go anywhere unless this is clear, in my view. Come up against me. We could have it. I don't want to debate, but from how my limited view, there's no point to go anywhere else unless this is clear, because it will just keep duplicating the aberration. You'll be trying to get out of self as self. You'll be using the Buddha to seek the Buddha. It's going to immediately lock in place again. You can't take yourself out of the equation. So you see what you're not, and then you'll be, in recovery you say you'll have the ability to enjoy peace of mind. We have that ability, yeah? It's our preoccupation with a thing that's in time that causes us not to be able to enjoy peace of mind unless it's a conditioned situation like a retreat or an idyllic vacation or no noise, cut off the phone, no emails. All right, I'm enjoying peace of mind. But you're in anxious control mode, yeah? Because anything can come in. Someone can knock on the door. Oh, there goes my peace. I used to live with a guy on a big property in Australia. He was a spiritual guy, lovely dude. We rented a cabin, and he'd want to meditate every day at 5:30. And it was a huge property with different people. So he'd get in a golf little cart, drive around 5 after 5 and say, I don't want anyone making any noise at 5:30. Yeah? But where was his peace then? His peace was, it's going to start at 5:30. If I can control all these conditions. You don't think that's the plan all the fucking time? It's always one little requirement. Like in Zen, they said it's like the difference between 10,000 years and a moment. One little requirement adds time and space to everything. One tiny little. If I only was physically healthy, it's unbelievable. It's just constantly putting it off the inevitable. I'm that. I am. That I am. That's okay. You're not that which is doing it. And it can only last this gargantuan Sisyphus, whatever, pushing the fucking stone up the hill for 80 years, 90 years. It's going to be over as if it never happened. Does that dreaming you were in last night seem like it's happening now? No. It's like it never happened, yeah? Now, let's say that dreaming was about having a 5-second drink of a Slurpee one night, and the next night a 300-year epic where you're obviously Cleopatra and this and that and da-da-da. How long did it take to wake up from both dreams? Like that, exactly. Time is manufactured. Time is a processed food additive. Yeah. Doesn't do anything for the fucking bread. Yeah, just see it. 300-year epic, I woke up like that. 5-second, woke up like that. Well, obviously, the big equation was it was 300 years. Didn't mean a damn fucking thing. Yeah, did it? There you go. Do you need 8,000 more examples of evidence? Let's move on to the fucking next court date. The complete annulling of all your seeming transgressions. Let's move on. Stop going to try to get paroled with you as the judge, the the fucking defendant, the whatever. Just move out of there, please. Yeah. You know what an incredible feat it is just to enjoy this Saturday? People are working feverishly to do it. You can just be it. Yeah. Yeah, see, it doesn't make much material for a blog. It doesn't. You're probably not going to kick out another book on your giant epic journey from where you were to where you are now, because there wasn't any journey. You've never moved. I don't know when it's going to hit us. The obviousness of it, yeah. And when we're going to see spirituality really mostly as warnings. Really. They're warning us, yeah. Stop wasting time trying to make the Toyota into the chariot of the gods. It's a Toyota, yeah. Stop going into the inner workings and try to change the source code, which is, it's going to constantly try to get out of itself as itself. That's its whole, it just keeps running into it and just changing vehicles. It doesn't realize it's just going to ram into the wall no matter what vehicle it uses. It's going to be defined as self trying to get out of self. You can learn now. And then when all that activity is going on, there's a sense of not being that activity. That's all. It's a beautiful little, yeah. So at all times, there's a perch that's available so you can see all the shenanigans. Instead of being on the level of the shenanigans, you can see them, yeah. And you'll see that there's no you in it at all, and you'll lose interest in a lot of it. You will. You won't be, I've got to set out to lose interest. That would be interest. You will lose interest, yeah, because it's not you. Yeah. And then you can come back and share the observations of what it's like to travel lighter. You have the evidence because you've entertained ideas. You didn't, mine did, and then things came about, and you're here to, you know, not try to sell you a rug. I'm telling you, you don't have a flaw. F-L-O-O-R. Yeah. So, rug or no rug, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Why not get that established? If it is already, why not? Yeah. You know, it's not a yeoman's job to try to establish the truth. It's always established. Yeah. Just see where the interest and attention lies. If it's on what you're not, you can call those dogs back. You can. You can call them back. And let your interest and attention get distributed from another point of view. Yeah, and see what happens. Yeah. Maybe you'll hear siren calls from silence, you know, who knows? Yeah, but I definitely know you'll never get gypped again. You're never going to be gypped. You're always going to be here. Yeah. Well, that's it anyway, honey. I'm shutting down.
You are?
Yes.
I was gonna give you this.
No, I know.
It looks
I'm
like
all right.
you're getting cooked.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind getting cooked. I
I
don't
can
mind
stand
getting
next
cooked
to-
for this.
I can stand next to you and hold it like that.
I'd get cooked for this. If I had any hope that anyone was going to get it, I would talk for hours. But I lost hope in all that. There's no one's going to get it. So let's make it short and quick.
I love the house, boarding up the house because you're actually afraid of time, but projecting it on people robbers that are why you have a security system.
Yes, for
But
sure.
you're afraid of time. You're making time.
And all these things that, you know, again, the action figure is going to do what it does. You're not beholden to that either. Do you think the action figure is going to get non-duality? It doesn't. But it can get its own failure. It can see the clone, even though it has human programming, can get that it's a clone. It can break through because the obviousness of it will overwhelm the programming. Yes? You can see the failedness of a system that you're relying on. Yeah? And then you will see that thing that says, I've been relying on a failed system, is the system. And then again, when it shows up, you'll recognize the system 4 or 5 times, and then you realize it's going to probably keep showing up. That's what it does. It's not based on you haven't done something, that's why it keeps doing that. It just keeps doing it. It's like a mechanical, that the clown jumping out of the Jack-in-the-Box. Well, the box, it's got about 30 rotations left. It just keeps it. You can't say, well, the subtle requirement is that has to stop for me to be okay. It doesn't. Yeah? Yeah. Your okayness isn't inherently based on what cannot be okay. It isn't. Yeah? The leavening agent you're looking for is not in here, it's of what we are. It's brought here. Yeah? Do you believe there's real security if you had everything controlled? No. Just like people who have a feeling of scarcity, $1 million ain't enough. $2 million, they act as if they have no fucking money. I see people complain and be anxious about the 4th house they're buying as if they were looking for a refrigerator box at 6th and Market for the night. The mental state doesn't need a ratio of circumstances and a proportion. It can make shit out of nothing. You can have all the evidence that you're okay, and it won't make a fucking dent in the belief that you're unokay. Just see what you're not, please. We attempt to describe it every week. You don't have to describe all of it, because it's made up. You describe certain things that make it up. That's all. The particulars aren't important. What's important is the mechanism, the claiming, yeah, the use of language to support the claiming, yeah, the addition of nouns into a life of living, yeah, the nouns becoming the most superior position, the verbs become suddenly subordinate to the noun, where the nouns are brought about by the claiming of the verbs. So the whole thing is ass backwards. We have nouns first, verbs second, when it's the other way. There's verbing and there's no nouns. Now, you can talk all your highfalutin shit you want down the road, but with this situation, it doesn't matter. Yeah? If the noun is seen to be before the verb, I don't give a shit what verb you're doing. I don't. Because all it can be doing, it may be using to reinforce the noun. What the fuck? Everyone wants to bring you the new verb that's going to supersede the noun. That's why there's always new shit, because nothing does. The selfing keeps claiming everything to reinforce itself. Yeah? All right, so now there's fucking... Every time there's a verbing, a noun is in the vicinity. A made up one. Suddenly, now the verb is seen from the noun point of view. Do you think it matters changing the verbs, or masquerading or clothing the noun, like the emperor has new clothes? It's just noun and verb is off. It doesn't matter how lovely the noun is, noun and verb is off. It's verbing. That's all there is. Let's get to the fucking mechanisms. Get to the primary number of the mathematics we're living under. Does the primary number 1 in a mathematical system, has it worked for you? Maybe the primary number is 0. Maybe that will work for us. Yeah? You're not stuck on the 1. There isn't only one mathematical formula. Everything is seen as how it pertains to me. No. There's other mathematical formulas that can be adopted. Yeah? But first, it seems you need to see the failure of the system, and what the real failure of the system is. No matter how failed it is, you'll still be identified as the center of the system. That's the real failure of the system. The real failure of the system is self can't get out of self. It will not fucking get it. I shot up so much coke when the evidence was in, I'm not going to get out of me through shooting up coke. But I tried over and over and over again to the point where I was actually producing overdoses with the hopes that at the end point I would be there unadorned as self. It didn't fucking work. Self can't get out of self. Yeah? Save us time. Let's move on. Yeah? To the next square. So that's why, people call me, they want to describe all these incredible phenomena they have, and I don't care. Because if the noun is before the verb, it doesn't fucking matter how many attributes the noun has. It doesn't to me. It's the same. It's the same mistake of the mathematics. Yeah? Oh, here's the newest formula. And they always have themselves included. The ayahuasca, always themselves included. It's always, I did the ayahuasca, I did da-da. The nouns are all everywhere. Yeah? So, yep. I used to love listening to people come back from their spiritual journeys. Right, I woke up or whatever, then I lost it by Wednesday, got it back by Saturday, stuff like that. I have absolutely no interest in it because as soon as I smell the noun verb, it doesn't fucking matter what verbing is being claimed by the nouning. It doesn't mean a shit to me anymore because it hasn't changed anything fundamentally, yeah? Like they would say, something real is never changed. It's always available at all times, right where we are, as it, with no requirement necessary. Now that has value to me. Yeah. So, hey, that's it. I'm getting fried. My little lizard.